Right now, as you watch this, your brain is either growing stronger or it's shrinking. That's not an opinion. That's biology. A massive review from the University of South Australia looked at over 97,000 participants across hundreds of trials and found something shocking. Exercise alone was more effective than medicine at managing mental health. And that's just one of 7 steps I'm going to hand you today. 7 steps that can literally rebuild your mind from the inside out. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in every 8 people on the planet, that's nearly a billion humans, is living with a mental disorder right now. And loneliness? It's killing about 100 people every single hour. That number comes directly from the WHO Commission on Social Connection report. 100 people every hour gone. But here's what they don't tell you. Your brain is not fixed. It's not some hard piece of rock that you're stuck with. Your brain can change. It can grow. It can heal. Scientists call this neuroplasticity. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to use it. Every step, every detail. Let's go. So what is neuroplasticity? In simple words, your brain can rewire itself. It can build new connections between its cells. It can strengthen old ones. And it can do this at any age. This is not something that only works for children or teenagers. This works for you right now, no matter how old you are. Here's how it works inside your head. Your brain has about 86 billion nerve cells called neurons. These neurons talk to each other through tiny gaps called synapses. Every time you learn something new, every time you practice a skill, these connections get stronger. Plus, it's like when you walk through tall grass. The first time is hard, but if you keep walking that same path every day, eventually there's a clear trail. Now, the opposite is also true. If you stop using certain brain connections, they get weak. They fade. This is why bad habits are so hard to break and good habits are so hard to build. But once you understand how your brain changes, you can take control. And that's exactly what we're going to do, step by step, starting with the most powerful brain tool on this planet. Step 1, exercise. And I don't mean you need to become a bodybuilder or run a marathon. I mean move your body. Walk, dance, swim, ride a bike, anything. Because what happens inside your brain when you move is absolutely incredible. When you exercise, your brain releases chemicals called neurotransmitters. The big 3 are dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins. Dopamine is your motivation chemical. Plus, it's the thing that makes you feel good after you finish cleaning your whole apartment. Serotonin is your mood chemical. Plus, it's the reason a long walk in the sun can make a bad day feel lighter. Endorphins are your pain relief chemicals. Plus, they're why runners sometimes feel like they're floating after a long jog. Your brain makes its own medicine. But wait, there's more. And I'm going to tell you something about exercise in your brain that most people have never heard. Stay with me. A study published in the Journal of Sport and Health Science found that just 1 year of regular aerobic exercise made the brain look almost a full year younger on MRI scans. Read that again. Exercise made the brain physically younger. The study included 130 healthy adults. The exercise group did about 150 minutes of moderate activity per week. That's roughly 20 minutes a day. And their brain predicted age dropped. Lead researcher Dr. Lu Wan said, and I quote, "Even a 1-year shift in brain age could matter over decades." Think about that. 20 minutes of moving for a younger brain. And Harvard Health backs this up. They report that the parts of the brain controlling thinking and memory are larger in people who exercise regularly. Not slightly larger, noticeably larger. The brain areas that help you plus remember your passwords, plus plan your week, plus and figure out which route to take when traffic is bad, those areas literally grow when you move your body. Now, here's where things get really serious. A major Cochrane review looked at 73 randomized controlled trials with nearly 5,000 adults diagnosed with depression. What did they find? Exercise reduced depression symptoms just as effectively as therapy, and possibly even as well as antidepressant medication. Let that sink in. A free activity that anyone can do performed as well as treatments that cost hundreds or thousands of dollars. Professor Andrew Clegg from the University of Lancashire led this research and confirmed that exercise can help people with depression. And the John W. Brick Foundation reviewed over 1,000 studies on the link between exercise and mental wellness. 89% found a significant positive connection between physical activity and mental health. That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. And it's telling you something important. Move your body. But how much? I'll give you the exact prescription in a moment. But first, step 2 is something you're probably ruining right now without even knowing it. Before we get to step 2, I need to tell you about something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Big name, right? But it's simple. BDNF is basically fertilizer for your brain. Harvard neuropsychiatrist Dr. John Ratey calls it Miracle-Gro for the brain. When you exercise, your body floods your brain with BDNF, and BDNF does something amazing. It helps grow brand new brain cells. It strengthens existing connections. It basically tells your brain, hey, build more, get stronger, don't stop. This is neuroplasticity in action. This is your brain literally rebuilding itself because you went for a jog. And research from PMC shows that exercise also improves the white matter in your brain. White matter is like the highway system that connects different brain regions. Stronger white matter means faster thinking, better focus, and clearer decision-making. So exercise doesn't just make you feel better, it structurally upgrades your brain. Now, step 2. Step 2, sleep. And this is where most people are destroying their mental health without realizing it. You think you're fine on 5 or 6 hours? You're not. Your brain is paying a price that you cannot see yet. A study published in PNAs from 2024 found that sleep deprivation disrupts your prefrontal cortex. That's the front part of your brain. It's the part that helps you resist eating the entire pizza at midnight, stop yourself from sending that angry text to your ex, and figure out how to manage your money this month. When you don't sleep enough, that part goes offline. And what takes over? The amygdala, your brain's fear and emotion center. Without enough sleep, the amygdala becomes hyperactive. That's why everything feels like a crisis when you're tired. Your boss's email seems threatening. A small argument with your partner feels like a breakup, and every little inconvenience makes you want to scream. That's not weakness. That's sleep deprivation literally hijacking your brain. Now here's what terrified me when I found this research. A study from the University of Camerino in Italy discovered that sleep loss physically damages the fatty insulation that protects your brain's neurons. This insulation is called myelin. Without it, signals between your brain cells slow down by nearly a third. Think of myelin like the rubber coating around an electrical wire. If you strip that rubber off the charger for your phone, the wires are exposed, the signal is weak, and eventually, it stops working. That's what happens to your neurons when you don't sleep enough. The coating gets thinner, the signals get slower, your thinking gets foggy. And the researchers found that this damage cannot always be fully restored. People who frequently worked night shifts showed cognitive problems even when they got enough sleep later. The damage had already been done. Sleep debt is real, and your brain is the one paying the bill. An umbrella review covering studies from 2008 to 2024 confirmed what scientists have suspected for years. Sleep deprivation leads to a definite increase in anxiety, aggression, and depression. The more you lose sleep, the worse it gets. The relationship between sleep loss and anxiety was described as consistent across all the studies reviewed. And it's not just your emotions. People who sleep less than 7 hours per night have a 6 to 15% higher risk of dying from any cause compared to people who get enough sleep. Any cause. That means less sleep, shorter life. It's that straightforward. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, I need to sleep more. But how? I'll give you the exact sleep routine at the end of this video, including a trick that most people have never tried. But first, step 3 is about a body part you'd never expect to be connected to your brain. Step 3, your gut. Yes, your stomach, your intestines, your digestive system. You might be wondering, what does my belly have to do with my brain? Everything. Johns Hopkins Medicine calls your gut your second brain, and there's a real reason for that. Lining your entire digestive system are over 100 million nerve cells. That's more neurons than in your spinal cord. These neurons form what scientists call the enteric nervous system, and this system talks to your brain constantly through something called the gut-brain axis. Here's the wild part. Stanford Medicine research explains that your gut and brain communicate through the vagus nerve, which is a massive nerve running from your brain all the way down to your colon. Signals go both ways. Your brain tells your gut how to digest food, but your gut also sends signals that affect your mood, your motivation, and even your ability to think clearly. This is not theory anymore. This is established science. Now here's something that might blow your mind. Most of your serotonin, the chemical that keeps your mood stable, that helps you feel calm and happy, is not made in your brain. It's made in your gut. According to researchers at Columbia University, there is more serotonin in your gut than in your brain. So if your gut is unhealthy, if it's full of bad bacteria, if it's inflamed from processed food and sugar, your serotonin production drops. And when serotonin drops, that's when you feel down for no reason, snap at people you love over small things, and can't seem to pull yourself out of a bad mood no matter what you try. It's not always in your head. Sometimes it's in your belly. And research from Frontiers in Microbiomes shows that disruptions in gut bacteria are linked to depression, anxiety, and even conditions like PTSD. The bacteria in your gut literally influence how your brain produces chemicals that control your emotions. Fix your gut, and you might just fix your mood. A brand new study from Northwestern University took this even further. When scientists transplanted gut bacteria from large-brained primates into mice, the mice's brains started to change. The brains began producing more energy. Learning pathways got stronger. But here's the scary part. When mice received gut bacteria from smaller-brained primates, their brains showed patterns connected to ADHD, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and autism. The lead researcher said, if you don't get exposed to the right human microbes in early life, your brain will work differently. So what does this mean for you? It means the food you eat doesn't just affect your weight, it affects your brain. The bacteria living in your gut can either protect your mental health or put it at risk. And in a few minutes, I'll tell you exactly what to eat to build a healthier gut. But first, step 4 is a practice that's over 2,000 years old, and modern science is finally catching up to it. Step 4, meditation. And before you roll your eyes and say, that's not for me, listen. Because Harvard scientists have proven that meditation physically changes the structure of your brain. Not how you feel, the actual structure. A study led by Sarah Lazar at Massachusetts General Hospital and Harvard Medical School put volunteers through an 8-week mindfulness program. They spent an average of just 27 minutes a day meditating. After 8 weeks, MRI scans showed increased gray matter in the hippocampus, the brain area responsible for remembering where you parked your car, learning a new language, and managing your emotions during a stressful meeting with your boss. 27 minutes a day for 8 weeks! And their brains physically changed. This wasn't about relaxation. Sarah Lazar herself said, this study demonstrates that changes in brain structure may underlie some of these improvements, and that people are not just feeling better because they're spending time relaxing. This is real structural change. But here's what's even more powerful. In the same Harvard research, participants who reported less stress showed decreased gray matter density in the amygdala. Remember the amygdala? That's your brain's alarm system. It's the part that makes your heart race when your phone rings at 2 a.m., makes you freeze when you see a spider, and turns every awkward silence into panic. Meditation shrank it. The fear center of the brain literally got smaller. And a follow-up study by researcher Gaël Debord found something even more remarkable. The brain changes from meditation were still visible even when people were not meditating. The benefits lasted throughout the entire day. That means meditation isn't just a thing you do for a few minutes and forget about. It transforms how your brain operates 24 hours a day. Less fear, less stress, more clarity, more calm. And you don't need to sit on a mountain in Tibet to get these results. You just need a quiet corner and 27 minutes. And if you're worried about your brain getting old, meditation helps with that too. Dr. Sarah Lazar's team at Harvard discovered that experienced meditators had brain structures similar to people decades younger. Areas of the brain that normally shrink with age were preserved in people who meditated regularly. It's like comparing two people who are both 55 years old, one who exercises their body and one who sits on the couch all day. The exerciser looks 10 years younger, right? Meditation does the same thing for your brain. The meditator's brain looks years younger than the non-meditator's brain. And research from the University of Bath found that combining mindfulness with exercise multiplied the mental health benefits. So steps 1 and 4 together are a superpower combination. Move your body and quiet your mind. Now, step 5 might be the most important one of all, and most people are failing at it right now. Step 5, social connection. And I don't mean scrolling through Instagram or sending memes in a group chat. I mean real, face-to-face human connection. The World Health Organization released a landmark report revealing that 1 in 6 people worldwide is affected by loneliness. And loneliness is linked to approximately 871,000 deaths every year. That's not a typo. Nearly 1 million people dying each year, and loneliness is a contributing factor. Former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy called it a defining challenge of our time. And the data from a major review in World Psychiatry Journal showed that people who often felt lonely had more than double the odds of developing depression compared to those who rarely felt lonely. Double. Loneliness isn't just sadness, it's a disease risk factor, and your brain is suffering because of it. Here's what loneliness does to your brain at the physical level. A review published in Science Direct found that social isolation and loneliness are linked to accelerated brain aging and increased risk of dementia. One study found that strong social connections were associated with a 46% lower chance of developing dementia. 46%. Almost half. Just by having strong social connections. The Lancet Commission on Dementia Prevention identified social isolation as one of 12 major risk factors for dementia. It's right up there with smoking and high blood pressure. And the WHO report confirmed that social connection reduces inflammation, lowers the risk of serious diseases like stroke, heart disease, and diabetes, and protects mental health. Meanwhile, loneliness does the opposite. It increases inflammation, it raises disease risk, it accelerates brain decline. Your relationships are not just nice to have, they are medicine for your brain. And this problem is hitting young people the hardest. The WHO report found that between 17 and 21% of people aged 13 to 29 reported feeling lonely. Teenagers showed the highest rates. And in low-income countries, about 24% of people reported loneliness. That's double the rate in high-income countries. The report also found that lonely teenagers were 22% more likely to get lower grades. Adults who were lonely found it harder to get or keep jobs. Loneliness doesn't just hurt your brain, it hurts your entire life. So what do you do about it? You prioritize real connection. You call that friend you haven't spoken to in months. You show up to that family dinner instead of making excuses. You put down your phone and look at the person across from you. I'll give you specific social connection strategies at the end. But first, step 6 is something so simple that most people don't take it seriously. And that's a huge mistake. Step 6. Gratitude. I know. You've heard this before. Be grateful. Count your blessings. It sounds like something your grandmother would say. But the neuroscience behind gratitude is genuinely extraordinary. When you feel grateful, your brain activates several key regions. The medial prefrontal cortex, the anterior cingulate cortex, the ventral striatum, and the insula all light up. These areas control how you decide between buying something you want and saving for something you need, how you read other people's emotions in a conversation, and how motivated you feel to get out of bed and attack your goals. Gratitude also triggers the release of dopamine and serotonin, the same feel-good chemicals that exercise produces. A study from Indiana University found that people who wrote gratitude letters reported significantly better mental health 4 and 12 weeks after the exercise ended. And these were people already receiving therapy for mental health concerns. Gratitude added to their healing. But here's the part that really got me. The Indiana University researchers used brain imaging 3 months after the gratitude letter writing ended, and the brains of the grateful group had changed. They showed increased neural sensitivity in the medial prefrontal cortex. Their brains had literally become more sensitive to gratitude over time. In other words, gratitude practices rewire your brain to notice more good things automatically, without you even trying. Your brain starts looking for reasons to be grateful. Just like right now, it's probably trained to look for problems. It's neuroplasticity at work again. And a study from Yonsei University used functional MRI to show that just 5 minutes of gratitude meditation changed the brain's resting state network connections. 5 minutes. The study showed improvements in emotion regulation and self-motivation. 5 minutes of thinking about what you're thankful for, and your brain starts operating differently. Gratitude also reduces activity in the amygdala, your brain's fear and anxiety center. Research shows that when you practice gratitude regularly, the amygdala activates the parasympathetic nervous system. That's your body's rest and digest mode. It counteracts the fight or flight response. It's like having a built-in off switch for panic. You're sitting in traffic, running late, your heart is pounding, and because you've trained your brain through gratitude, it kicks in and says, "Hey, you're okay. Breathe." That's the parasympathetic system doing its job, and gratitude makes it stronger. One study of 83 adults showed that people who wrote gratitude notes had fewer symptoms of death anxiety than those who wrote about worries or did a neutral task. Gratitude helped them accept uncertainty and feel less fearful about the future. That's not willpower, that's brain chemistry, and anyone can access it. Now, step 7. This is the one nobody wants to hear. Step 7. Protect what goes into your brain. And I'm talking about information, the content you consume, the news, the social media, the endless scroll at midnight. Every single thing you watch, read, and listen to is either building your brain up or tearing it down. Remember what we said about neuroplasticity? Your brain becomes what you repeatedly feed it. If you spend 2 hours every night watching people argue on social media, your brain gets better at detecting threats, feeling outrage, and staying anxious. If you spend those same 2 hours reading, learning, or having real conversations, your brain gets better at thinking, connecting, and creating. The WHO Commission specifically called out the effects of excessive screen time on mental health, especially for young people. And NPR's health reporters noted that brain rot, the perceived mental decline from consuming too much online media, was named Oxford's Word of the Year for 2024. When a dictionary names your scrolling habit as Word of the Year, that should tell you something. Here's what actually happens inside your brain when you consume negative content. Your amygdala fires up, cortisol gets released, your body goes into a mild stress response. And if this happens every day, for months, for years, That chronic stress causes inflammation in your brain. Research from PMC confirms that chronic inflammation in the brain is directly linked to depression. The cycle works like this. Stress triggers inflammation. Inflammation damages brain cells. Damaged brain cells reduce your ability to handle stress, so you feel more stressed. It's a downward spiral, and the doom scrolling keeps it spinning. I'm not saying delete all your apps. I'm not saying never watch the news. I'm saying be intentional. Guard your brain like you guard your house. You wouldn't let just anyone walk through your front door, so why are you letting just anything walk into your mind? Now, I promised you specific action steps, recipes for your brain. Here they come. Action time. Let's start with exercise. Based on the research, here's your exact brain health exercise prescription. Aim for 150 minutes per week of moderate to vigorous aerobic activity. That's what the MRI study used. That's what showed younger-looking brains. Break it down simply. That's 5 30-minute walks, or 3 50-minute gym sessions, or 7 20-minute dance sessions in your living room. It doesn't matter what type of movement you choose. Harvard Health says walking is the most studied form, but any aerobic activity that gets your heart pumping should give you similar benefits. The key? Consistency, not intensity. The University of South Australia review found that exercise programs of 12 weeks or shorter were most effective at reducing mental health symptoms. That means you can see real changes in just 3 months. Start today. Not Monday, not next month, today. Even if it's just a 10-minute walk around your neighborhood. Now, sleep. The research is clear. Adults need 7 to 9 hours per night. Not 5, not 6, 7 to 9. Here's your sleep protocol. First, set a consistent bedtime. Your brain has an internal clock called the circadian rhythm. It's like an alarm that your body sets for itself. It learns when to release sleep chemicals and when to release wake-up chemicals based on your routine. When you go to sleep at different times every night, this clock gets confused, and confused clocks make for bad sleep. Second, no screens for 30 minutes before bed. The blue light from your phone and laptop tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime. This suppresses melatonin, the chemical that makes you feel sleepy. Third, make your room cold and dark. Your brain sleeps best when the temperature drops slightly. And here's the trick I promised you. Try keeping a gratitude journal next to your bed. A University of Manchester study found that gratitude predicted better sleep quality because it changes the thoughts running through your mind as you fall asleep. Gratitude replaces worry. Step 3 action plan. Fix your gut. And this one is simpler than you think. Your gut bacteria thrive on fiber. Stanford Medicine confirms that high-fiber diets support a healthy gut microbiome. So here's what to do. Eat more whole grains. Think brown rice instead of white rice, whole wheat bread instead of white bread. Eat more fruits and vegetables. Eat more fermented foods like yogurt, kimchi, sauerkraut, and miso. These contain natural probiotics, live bacteria that support your gut health. A review in PMC found that probiotics showed promising results in reducing symptoms of depression and anxiety. And eat less processed food, sugar, and artificial ingredients. These are like poison for your gut bacteria. It's like planting a beautiful garden and then pouring chemicals all over the soil. The flowers can't grow in that environment. And your good gut bacteria can't thrive when you're flooding them with junk. Feed your gut well, and your gut will feed your brain well. That's the deal. Meditation action plan. Start small. You do not need to sit for an hour in silence. The Harvard study showed results with 27 minutes per day, but even less can work. The Yonsei University study showed changes in just 5 minutes. Harvard neuroscientist Richard Davidson has found that for beginners, doing really short periods of practice several times a day is actually more effective than one long session. So start with 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at lunch, 5 minutes before bed. That's 15 minutes total. Anyone can do that. Here's the simplest meditation technique. Sit down, close your eyes. Breathe in through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, out through your mouth for 6 counts. Focus on your breath. When your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring it back. That's it. No chanting, no incense, no special pillow, just you and your breath. Do this for 8 weeks and your brain will change. The science proves it. Social Connection Action Plan. This is about intentional relationships. Not more followers, not more likes, real human bonds. Here's your weekly minimum. Have at least one face-to-face conversation per day that lasts more than 5 minutes. Not about work, about life. Ask your neighbor how their weekend was. Call your mom and actually listen to her story about the grocery store. Sit with a coworker at lunch instead of eating alone at your desk. These tiny moments add up, and they send powerful signals to your brain that you are connected and safe. The WHO Commission report emphasizes that social connection should be treated with the same urgency as physical and mental health. Schedule it like you schedule a doctor's appointment. Every week, make time for at least one longer social activity: a dinner with friends, a walk with a family member, even volunteering at a local community project. Your brain needs this. Loneliness is slowly killing people. Don't let it get to you. Gratitude Action Plan. This is the easiest one, and the research says you don't even need to do it every day. UC Berkeley's Greater Good Science Center found that writing gratitude letters just once a week for 3 weeks led to better mental health that lasted for months. Here's your plan. Get a notebook. Every night before bed, write down 3 specific things you're grateful for. Not, I'm grateful for life. Be specific, like, I'm grateful my friend sent me that funny video today, or I'm grateful I had a warm meal tonight, or I'm grateful the rain stopped just in time for my walk. The more specific you are, the more your brain has to search for the good things. And that search process, that's the exercise that rewires your neural pathways. Think of it as doing push-ups for your brain's happiness muscles. 3 things, every night. That's your prescription. And I promise you, within 4 weeks, you will feel the difference. Your brain will start noticing beauty and goodness that it was blind to before. And finally, your information diet. Start by auditing your screen time. Most phones track this already. Check it. Be honest with yourself about how many hours you spend scrolling. Then set a goal to reduce it by just 30 minutes per day. Replace that time with something that builds your brain. Read a book. Listen to a podcast that teaches you something new. Have a conversation with someone. Go outside and walk. These activities all trigger positive neuroplasticity. They build the brain connections you want instead of the anxiety connections you don't want. And set boundaries. No phone during meals. No phone in the bedroom. No checking social media in the first 30 minutes after waking up. Your morning thoughts are like wet cement. Whatever you stamp into them hardens for the rest of the day. If the first thing you see is bad news and comparison traps, that's the shape of your mental state for hours. Start your morning with intention, not with Instagram. Let me bring it all together. 7 steps to a healthy mind. 7 habits that science says will rebuild your brain from the inside out. Step 1. Move your body. 150 minutes per week. Step 2. Sleep properly. 7 to 9 hours, consistent schedule. Step 3. Heal your gut. Fiber, fermented foods, less processed junk. Step 4. Meditate daily. Start with 5 minutes. Build to 27. Step 5. Connect with real people. Daily conversations, weekly social activities. Step 6. Practice gratitude. 3 specific things every night. Step 7. Protect your information diet. Less doom scrolling, more intentional input. These aren't complicated. None of them cost money. None of them require special equipment. But each one is backed by serious research from Harvard, Stanford, Johns Hopkins, the World Health Organization, and dozens of other institutions. The science is overwhelming. The only question is, will you act on it? I want to come back to this word one more time. Neuroplasticity. Your brain can change at any age, in any circumstance. This is the most powerful truth in all of neuroscience. Every time you go for that walk, you're building new neural pathways. Every time you choose sleep over late-night scrolling, you're protecting your myelin. Every time you eat that bowl of yogurt with fruit, you're feeding your gut bacteria so they can support your mood. Every single small choice adds up. A study published in Nature showed that even 40 days of mindfulness meditation produced overlapping structural and functional changes in the brain. 40 days! That's not a lifetime commitment. That's a little over 5 weeks. You are that close to a different brain. You are that close to a different life. Don't waste this knowledge. Think of mental health like a bank account. Every positive action is a deposit. Every destructive habit is a withdrawal. Right now, many people are bankrupt and they don't even know it. They're withdrawing every day with poor sleep, bad food, isolation, and constant negativity. But what happens when you start making deposits? It compounds. Just like money in a savings account earns interest over time, your brain health builds on itself. Good sleep makes exercise easier. Exercise improves your gut health. Better gut health lifts your mood. Better mood makes you more social. Social connection reduces stress. Less stress improves your sleep. It becomes a positive spiral instead of a negative one, and the research proves this. The University of Bath study found that combining mindfulness with exercise produced even bigger mental health benefits than either one alone. The steps multiply each other. Start with one, add another. Watch the compound effect take hold. Now, let me be honest with you. Most people who watch this video will do nothing. Not because they don't care, not because they're lazy, but because they try to do everything at once. They set their alarm for 5 a.m., plan to meditate for 30 minutes, cook a perfect gut-healthy meal, exercise for an hour, and journal before bed, all on day 1. And then by day 3, they're exhausted and they quit. Sound familiar? Yeah, we've all been there. The trick is not to overhaul your entire life in one day. The trick is to build one habit at a time. Pick the step that feels easiest to you. Maybe that's the 10-minute walk. Maybe that's writing 3 grateful things before bed. Start there. Do it for 2 weeks. Then add the next one. Dr. B.J. Fogg at Stanford University's Longevity Center says you've got to start small if you want your habit to stick. Small wins build momentum, and momentum builds transformation. Let's talk about stress for a moment, because stress is the silent destroyer of mental health. When you're stressed, your brain releases a hormone called cortisol. In small amounts, cortisol is helpful. It's what gives you that burst of energy to meet a deadline at work or jump out of the way when a car honks at you. But chronic stress keeps cortisol high all the time. And high cortisol over long periods literally shrinks your hippocampus, the memory and learning center of your brain. It also weakens your prefrontal cortex, which means worse decision-making, less impulse control, and more emotional reactions. Research from Harvard shows that mindfulness meditation can directly reduce stress and decrease gray matter density in the amygdala. This is your body's built-in stress reduction system, but you have to activate it through meditation, exercise, social connection, and sleep. The 7 steps aren't just nice ideas. They're your defense system against the cortisol flood. Now I need to talk about something most people don't know about. Inflammation. Not the kind you see when you cut your finger. Brain inflammation. The invisible kind. And it is destroying mental health across the world. Research published in PMC explains that chronic inflammation in the body can cross into the brain and damage neural function. It disrupts neurotransmitter production, impairs neuroplasticity, and creates a hostile environment where depression and anxiety thrive. What causes this inflammation? Poor diet, lack of sleep, chronic stress, social isolation. Sound familiar? It's everything we've been talking about. The 7 steps aren't just about feeling better. They are literally anti-inflammatory strategies for your brain. Exercise reduces inflammation. Sleep reduces inflammation. A healthy gut reduces inflammation. Meditation reduces inflammation. Social connection reduces inflammation. You're building a shield around your brain. Let me introduce you to one of the most important nerves in your body, the vagus nerve. It runs from your brainstem all the way down to your gut, touching your heart, lungs, and digestive organs along the way. Johns Hopkins calls it a key player in the gut-brain connection. When your vagus nerve is working well, you feel calm. Your heart rate is steady, your digestion works smoothly, your mood is stable. But when it's not functioning well, anxiety shows up out of nowhere. Your stomach feels tight for no reason, and your heart races even when you're just sitting on the couch. Many of the 7 steps strengthen your vagus nerve. Deep breathing activates it, meditation stimulates it, social connection tones it, cold water on your face triggers it. Even humming or singing activates the vagus nerve because it runs past your vocal cords. Your body has this incredible system built in to calm you down. You just need to know how to turn it on. Let's talk about dopamine for a second, because this one chemical is responsible for so much of your daily behavior. Dopamine is your motivation molecule. It's what makes you feel excited when your food delivery notification pops up, what keeps you clicking next episode at midnight, and what drives you to check your phone 100 times a day. The problem? Modern life has hijacked your dopamine system. Social media, junk food, video games, and instant gratification give you quick hits of dopamine without any real effort. And over time, your brain needs more and more stimulation to feel the same level of satisfaction. This is called dopamine desensitization. It's like needing louder and louder music to feel the same thump. The 7 steps help reset your dopamine system. Exercise releases dopamine naturally. Gratitude triggers it gently. Social connection produces it sustainably. When you rebuild your dopamine through healthy habits, you don't need the constant phone checking and junk food anymore. Your brain starts finding pleasure in real things again. Serotonin. This is the chemical of calm and contentment. While dopamine drives you to go, serotonin helps you feel okay with where you already are. Low serotonin is one of the most common markers in people with depression. That's why many antidepressants work by increasing serotonin levels. But here's the incredible thing. Your body can make more serotonin naturally. Sunlight exposure increases it. Exercise boosts it. And as we discussed, your gut produces most of it. Research from Columbia University gastroenterologist Dr. Benjamin Lebwohl confirms there's significantly more serotonin in the gut than in the brain. So when someone tells you to just be happy, what they should say is, go for a walk in the sunshine, eat some fiber, and take care of your gut. Because that is how you actually boost serotonin, not through willpower, through biology. Every step in this guide increases your serotonin through one pathway or another. You're not just learning tips, you're learning how to control your own brain chemistry. Endorphins deserve their own moment. These chemicals are your body's natural painkillers. They're released during exercise, laughter, social bonding, and even eating spicy food. Yes, spicy food. Endorphins work by binding to the same receptors in your brain that certain pain medications target. That feeling of warmth and calm after a good workout? Endorphins. That lightness you feel after laughing really hard with friends? Endorphins. That strange satisfaction after surviving a super spicy pepper challenge? Yep, endorphins. This is another reason the 7 steps are so powerful. Exercise floods you with endorphins. Social connection triggers them. Even meditation has been shown to increase endorphin release. Your brain already has the pharmacy. It's built into you. The 7 steps are simply the prescription. Fill it every single day. I keep mentioning the prefrontal cortex, so let me explain why it matters so much. The prefrontal cortex is at the front of your brain, right behind your forehead. It's the newest part of the brain in evolutionary terms, and it's what makes humans human. This is where you plan your goals for the next year, weigh the pros and cons of quitting your job, and stop yourself from saying something you'll regret during an argument. It handles planning, focus, impulse control, and complex decision-making. Research confirms that exercise enhances prefrontal cortex function, which helps regulate stress responses in the brain. But here's the thing. The prefrontal cortex is also the first area to go offline when you're tired, stressed, or overwhelmed. That's why you make terrible decisions at 2 a.m. That's why you say things you regret when you're angry. That's why stress makes you reach for unhealthy comfort. Protecting your prefrontal cortex through sleep, exercise, and meditation is like keeping your best decision maker employed. The hippocampus. Shaped like a seahorse, sitting deep in the middle of your brain, this little structure is essential for learning a new skill like cooking a dish you found online, remembering your child's birthday party from last year, and feeling the right emotion at the right moment during a movie instead of being numb. And the hippocampus is extremely sensitive to damage. Chronic stress shrinks it. Sleep deprivation impairs it. Social isolation weakens it. But exercise grows it. Meditation strengthens it. The Harvard Mindfulness Study showed increased gray matter density in the hippocampus after just 8 weeks. Research on sleep deprivation found that lack of sleep correlated with hippocampal atrophy, meaning the hippocampus actually got smaller. So every night you choose scrolling over sleeping, you might be literally shrinking the part of your brain that handles memory and learning. That's a scary trade-off. We've talked a lot about the amygdala. Let me explain the balance you need. The amygdala is not your enemy, it's your protection system. It's the thing that makes you jump back when you almost step on a snake, pulls your hand away from a hot stove before you even think about it, and floods your body with adrenaline when you hear a loud crash in the night. You need it. But in the modern world, the amygdala is overactivated. We live in constant low-level stress. Work emails, financial pressure, social media comparison, traffic. The amygdala treats all of it like a threat. And an overactive amygdala means chronic anxiety, emotional outbursts, and poor sleep. The solution? Calm the amygdala through the 7 steps. Harvard's research showed meditation reduces amygdala gray matter. Gratitude practices reduce amygdala activity. Exercise helps regulate the stress response. You're not trying to eliminate fear, you're trying to put fear back in its proper place, as a protective tool, not a constant companion. Let me give you a specific list of brain-friendly foods. Think of this as your brain's grocery list. Fatty fish like salmon and sardines, rich in omega-3 fatty acids that reduce brain inflammation. Blueberries, packed with antioxidants that protect brain cells from damage. Dark leafy greens like spinach and kale, loaded with vitamins that support neurotransmitter production. Nuts and seeds, especially walnuts, contain healthy fats your brain needs to function. Fermented foods like yogurt, kimchi, and sauerkraut, these feed your gut bacteria and strengthen the gut-brain axis. NPR's health reporting highlighted that some clinicians are even exploring ketogenic diets for mental health. And here's a simple daily plan. Breakfast: yogurt with blueberries and walnuts. Lunch: a big salad with leafy greens, salmon, and olive oil. Dinner: brown rice with vegetables and fermented side dish. That's not a complicated diet. That's just choosing real food over processed food. And your brain will thank you for it. Oh, and drink water. Your brain is about 75% water. Even mild dehydration, just 1 to 2%, can impair your mood, concentration, and memory. It's like trying to run a car engine with barely any oil. Technically, it might work, but it's grinding, struggling, and slowly destroying itself. Most people walk around mildly dehydrated and don't even know it. Headaches? Could be dehydration. Brain fog? Could be dehydration. Irritability? Might just be that you haven't had enough water today. Aim for at least 8 glasses of water per day. More if you exercise. More if you live in a hot climate. Keep a water bottle with you at all times. Make it a rule. Every time you check your phone, take a sip of water first. That way your scrolling habit at least comes with a health benefit. Small trick, big results. Here's a bonus tip. Get outside. into nature, not just outside to the parking lot, into green spaces, parks, forests, gardens, even just a tree-lined street. Research consistently shows that spending time in nature reduces cortisol, lowers blood pressure, and improves mood. It's like a reset button for your nervous system. You're surrounded by screens and concrete all day, and your brain is craving something green and alive. Combine this with exercise, and you get a double benefit. A 30-minute walk in a park gives you exercise and nature exposure, and sunlight for serotonin production. 3 brain benefits from one activity. That's efficient mental health care. You don't need a therapist's office to start healing. Sometimes you just need a pair of shoes and a nearby park. Let me give you one breathing technique that can change your brain state in under 2 minutes. It's called box breathing. Navy SEALs use it. And it works because it directly activates your vagus nerve. Here's how. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Breathe out through your mouth for 4 seconds. Hold again for 4 seconds. That's one cycle. Do 4 to 6 cycles. The entire thing takes less than 2 minutes. Do it when your boss emails you something stressful. Do it before a difficult phone call. Do it when you're lying in bed and your mind won't stop racing. This is instant vagus nerve activation, instant parasympathetic response, instant calm. And over time, regular practice of this technique strengthens your vagus nerve tone, meaning your baseline stress level gets lower permanently. 2 minutes, 4 to 6 cycles. Brain chemistry changed. Journaling is another powerful tool that most people underestimate. The Indiana University study showed that people who wrote about gratitude had better mental health outcomes than those who only received counseling. Writing forces your brain to organize thoughts. When worries are spinning in your head, they feel enormous, like a tangled mess of headphone wires in your pocket. But when you write them down, they become concrete, specific, manageable. Your prefrontal cortex gets involved. It starts analyzing instead of just panicking. Try this. Every morning, write for 5 minutes. Dump everything in your head onto the page. Worries, plans, random thoughts, get it out. Then in the evening, write your 3 gratitude items. This morning and evening journaling practice covers both sides, releasing negativity and building positivity. Your brain gets a clean start every morning and a grateful end every night. Your brain loves routine. It might sound boring, but routine is actually one of the most calming things for your nervous system. When your brain can predict what's coming next, it uses less energy on stress and more energy on creativity, problem-solving, and emotional regulation. Think about a toddler who has no bedtime routine. They're a mess every night. Crying, fighting, unable to settle down. Now think about a toddler with a consistent bath, book, bed routine. Calm, sleepy, and ready for rest. Your adult brain works the same way. It just doesn't cry as loudly. Well, usually. Build a morning routine. Build an evening routine. Your morning routine could be wake up, drink water, journal for 5 minutes, meditate for 5 minutes, move for 20 minutes. Your evening routine could be no screens after 9 p.m., gratitude journal, breathing exercises, lights off. These routines become automatic over time. They reduce decision fatigue and free up your brain for what actually matters. Now, I need to say something important. Everything in this video is based on science, and it can help you. But it is not a replacement for professional help. If you are experiencing severe depression, persistent anxiety, thoughts of hurting yourself, or any mental health crisis, please reach out to a qualified professional. These 7 steps are like exercise for your brain. They maintain health and can improve mild to moderate symptoms. But just like you'd see a doctor for a broken leg, you should see a mental health professional for serious mental health conditions. There is no shame in that. None. Zero. Getting help is the bravest thing you can do. Think of it this way. The 7 steps are your daily vitamins. Professional therapy or medication, if needed, is your surgery. You might need both, and that's okay. The goal is a healthy mind. However you get there is the right way for you. Okay, I want to give you a challenge. 21 days. That's all I'm asking for. 3 weeks. Give these 7 steps 3 weeks and I promise you will feel a difference. Week 1. Start with 2 steps. Pick exercise and gratitude. Walk for 20 minutes a day and write 3 grateful things each night. That's it. Don't add anything else. Let your brain adjust. Week 2. Add sleep hygiene and gut-friendly food. Set a consistent bedtime and swap 1 processed meal for a whole food meal each day. Week 3. ADD meditation, social connection, and information protection. Start with 5 minutes of meditation, schedule 1 real social interaction, and cut 30 minutes off your screen time. By the end of 21 days, you'll have all 7 steps running. Not perfectly, but running. And your brain will be building new pathways that make these habits feel natural. 21 days to a new brain. Are you in? How do you know if it's working? Here are the signs to look for. Better sleep. Not just longer sleep, but waking up feeling more rested. That's a sign your brain is recovering properly at night. Calmer reactions. When someone cuts you off in traffic and you don't lose your mind, that's progress. When your kid spills juice on the carpet and you breathe instead of yelling, that's progress. It means your prefrontal cortex is getting stronger and your amygdala is calming down. More energy during the day. Fewer emotional crashes. Better focus. The ability to sit and read for 30 minutes without reaching for your phone. Feeling more connected to people around you. These are all signs that neuroplasticity is doing its job. Your brain is rewiring. It's quiet work, but it's real work. Trust the process. Let me save you from some common mistakes. Mistake number 1, expecting instant results. Your brain did not get to where it is overnight. It won't change overnight either. Give it time. The research shows 4 to 12 weeks for significant mental health improvements. Mistake number 2, going all in and burning out. I said it before and I'll say it again. Start small. 1 step at a time. Build slowly. Mistake number 3, comparing your progress to someone else's. Your brain is unique. Your starting point is different. Your journey will not look like anyone else's, and that is completely fine. Mistake number 4, quitting because of 1 bad day. You will have bad days. You'll miss a meditation. You'll eat junk food. You'll scroll until midnight. That does not erase your progress. 1 bad meal doesn't make you unhealthy. 1 bad day doesn't undo 3 weeks of brain growth. Get back up. Start again tomorrow. Your brain is still changing. Let me remind you of the numbers one more time. 89% of over 1,000 studies confirm exercise improves mental health. 8 weeks of meditation physically changes brain structure. Loneliness doubles your risk of depression. Sleep deprivation damages the protective coating of your neurons. Gut bacteria influence neurotransmitter production and directly affect your mood. Gratitude practices rewire neural pathways within weeks. Social connection reduces your risk of dementia by up to 46%. This is not guessing. This is not opinion. This is decades of research from the world's best institutions. Harvard, Stanford, Johns Hopkins, the World Health Organization. They're all saying the same thing. Your mental health is in your hands. Not entirely, but significantly. And these 7 steps give you the tools to take control. Here's something beautiful. Many of these discoveries are things that ancient cultures already knew. Meditation is over 2,500 years old. The gut-brain connection was described in traditional Chinese medicine centuries before Western science caught up. Gratitude practices exist in virtually every spiritual tradition on Earth. Buddhist monks knew that stillness changes the mind. Ayurvedic practitioners knew that food affects mood. Indigenous cultures around the world knew that community is medicine. Modern science didn't invent these truths, it confirmed them, with MRI machines and clinical trials and statistical analysis. What this means for you is that these steps are not some trendy wellness fad that will disappear next year. They are timeless principles of human health that have been practiced for millennia and now have the scientific proof to back them up. You're not experimenting with something new. You're reconnecting with something ancient, something deeply human. I want you to remember one thing above everything else in this video. Consistency beats perfection, every time. You don't need the perfect diet. You don't need the perfect meditation session. You don't need the perfect sleep schedule. You just need to show up, day after day. Even a messy 5-minute meditation where your mind wanders the entire time is better than no meditation. Even a 10-minute walk when you plan to run for an hour is better than staying on the couch. Even writing one grateful thing instead of 3 is better than writing nothing. Progress is progress. Your brain doesn't care about perfection. It cares about repetition. The more you repeat a positive behavior, the stronger that neural pathway becomes. Over time, the healthy choice becomes the easy choice, the default choice. That's when transformation happens. Not in a dramatic moment, but in the quiet accumulation of small, consistent actions. Here's the most hopeful thing I can tell you. Your brain wants to heal. Neuroplasticity isn't something you have to force. It's something that's always happening. Your brain is constantly adapting, constantly rewiring, constantly trying to optimize itself for whatever environment you put it in. Right now, if your environment is stress, poor food, no sleep, and isolation, your brain is optimizing for survival, anxiety, hypervigilance, emotional reactivity. But the moment you change the environment, the moment you start giving it exercise, rest, good nutrition, connection, stillness, and gratitude, it starts optimizing for thriving. Your brain is waiting for you to give it the right signals. It's ready. It's been ready this whole time. You just needed to know what signals to send. And now, you do. If this video helped you, I need you to do something. Share it. Not for me, for someone you care about. Think of that one person in your life who is struggling with their mental health, who isn't sleeping well, who seems disconnected, who's always stressed and overwhelmed. Send them this video. Have that conversation. Because remember, social connection is medicine. And sometimes the most powerful act of connection is saying to someone, "Hey, I found something that might help. I'm thinking of you." The WHO report said social connection should be treated with the same urgency as physical and mental health. Be part of that change. Don't just improve your brain. Help improve someone else's brain too. That's how we turn this around. Not just one person at a time, but one connection at a time. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. 365 days of consistent movement, of 7 to 9 hours of sleep, of feeding your gut real, whole food, of daily meditation, of real human connections, of gratitude every single night, of protecting your mind from information garbage. What would that person look like? What would they feel like? Based on the science, they'd have a brain that looks younger on MRI scans. Lower inflammation, better memory, sharper focus, deeper emotional control, stronger relationships, higher natural levels of dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins. That person would be fundamentally different from who you are today. Not because of luck, not because of genetics, but because of choices. Daily, small, consistent choices that let neuroplasticity do what it does best. Rebuild, reshape, and renew your brain. So here's my final question to you. When does this begin? Not, "I'll start Monday." Not, "I'll try next month." When does this begin? right now. What's the one step you're going to take today? Maybe it's putting on your shoes and walking around the block. Maybe it's putting your phone in another room tonight and actually sleeping. Maybe it's writing 3 things you're grateful for on a napkin right now. It does not matter how small it is. What matters is that you start. Because your brain, this incredible, complex, beautiful machine inside your skull, is ready to change. It is ready to heal. It is ready to grow. It has been waiting for you. And now you know exactly what to do. 7 steps, backed by science, tested by time, available to everyone. Your mind is your most valuable asset on this entire planet. Protect it, feed it, train it, love it, and it will love you back. Now go. Start right now. I believe in you.